Good afternoon. It's great to be back on another webinar with all of you. Thank you for participating with us again. And today we are doing something a bit more exciting. We are doing a double duo over here.
Hi.
So I'm not sick this time, and Lauren's not taking over because I can't talk. We're just doing a little two
Double whammy.
double whammy,
Why not?
exactly. It'll be much more fun to talk through this exciting array of experiences that we've got in front of us. And we're just going to wait for a few more people to join us, and then we'll get cracking on today's webinar. Um, and it is a wonderful day out here, actually,
Look at
middle
this
of winter. Look,
short
that's
sleeve,
exactly.
Yeah.
Linen shirt. Okay.
So everybody who naysays the Cape Town or the Western Cape winters, we're proof that
Absolutely.
it's
That is
beautiful.
absolutely fantastic. Exactly. And today really is going to be about focusing on why come to the Cape but at this time of the year. It's the most spectacular time, and we really do advocate traveling here. And it's actually a fantastic value as well. So I think we're going to get cracking. The rest of the people can get the recording at a later stage. Good. So today we're concentrating on South Africa. We're going to be concentrating predominantly on the Western and Eastern Cape. So we're not going up into the Kruger or any of those areas, but we're just concentrating on what is right on our doorstep over here. As you know, I'm based in Franschhoek, just 5 minutes away from Leclerc, and Lauren's based in Cape Town. So she's going to give us a bit more of a scoop on the Cape Town experiences that we're going to be chatting about. But before we get cracking, I think we're going to launch our first poll. Just waiting for a few more people to come on. But just can we look at what the first question we would like to ask you is from a destination point of view, what are you guys selling a lot of? So we want you to tell us in the ranking order between South Africa, Mozambique, Namibia, Zambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Kenya, and tick that in the order that you sell them the most. Okay, so if number one is South Africa, number two, Kenya, number three, Tanzania, those sort of orders, if you could let us know those destinations, that would be great. So we can get an idea of what you are selling the most of from that side. And I'll give you a moment to answer those questions and then get back to us on that. Good. Oh, lots. Oh, heavens. We've got lots selling
Everything.
everything. Okay. We need to wait. We need to get a few more people to answer this, I think.
Come on in, guys.
Yeah,
Give us
come
your
on.
thoughts.
I want to see who's doing what over here.
There's
Yep.
more coming in.
Okay,
There
there
we
we go.
go.
Now we're getting a bit more of a feeling for what's happening. It's still staying pretty much equal. Yeah. You also link, well, we're trying to see which one to rank them in terms of it was supposed to be a ranking. Yep. Okay, so we're getting a
So
really
everybody's doing
nice.
Kenya.
Everybody's doing Kenya, lots doing South Africa. A lot of Kenya and Tanzania are coming up the most at the moment. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa. Okay,
Okay, cool. A little bit of everything.
great. So this is a nice spread that we're getting over here. I'm going to wait a little moment more to give a few more. Are we going to give it sort of like another 10 seconds or so? Okay, then we're going to end the poll, giving you a few more. There we go. End the poll now. So that's great to see that we've got this nice spread across lots of different destinations. Okay, so moving on now, we're going to look today. Our webinar is going to be covering our Wales, wine, and wilderness. We have a 10-night suggested itinerary, and I think that this is one of our itineraries that actually has been very, very well received. It's covering the Coot Club, Leclerc, and Kwandwe. But before we kick into that, we're going to be giving you a bit of an update on Cape Town helicopters and Escape and Explore in Cape Town as well. So just to give you an idea of the destinations we're covering today, from a map point of view, we have Escape and Explore, who operate out of Cape Town and into the surrounding Western Cape area. We've then got our new partner, Cape Town Helicopters and Experiences, who are operating predominantly around Cape Town and into the surrounding area as well. Lauren will be chatting a little bit more about this, but just do remember Cape Town Helicopters do have a fixed wing aviation side as well, and they extend all the way around up into Kwandwe, Kruger, and any place within Southern Africa on their fixed wing aeroplanes. From a property point of view, we're then going to go to the Coot Club, And we're going to do a 3-night stay in the Coot Club. We're then going to go to Leclerc in Franschhoek, where we're going to do a 3-night stay in Franschhoek at Leclerc. And then we're going to end off at Kwandwe to do a 4-night stay at Kwandwe. So that kind of gives you an overview of the destinations that we are covering in today's webinar. To start off with, then we're going to do Escape and Explore. And as Lauren lives in Cape Town and it's her sort of backyard, I'm going to hand over to you to give us your overview of why you enjoy Escape and Explore. We've obviously done it as a team, amazing experiences. But Lauren, I'd love to hear from you from that.
Yeah, and Escape and Explore is one that's kind of near and dear to my heart because I was very lucky in my previous lifetime that I was one of the very first agents to get to experience Escape and Explore. When Ingram was coming out with all of his new crazy ideas. So I've really been quite a lucky one to be able to experience how they've grown and where they are now and what they're doing now is really quite impressive with how they've moved from their starting point and where they're really getting some amazing wind under their wings and are just flying in what they offer from a Western Cape experience perspective. So some of the things that we love the most about Escape and Explore and where their roots started was definitely from a perspective of wanting to get out and explore and having the opportunity to do more than just view the Cape from a vehicle. And you get out and you're on the feet and you're meeting new people and you're really engaging with all of the different parts of what the Cape can give you. So it has this amazing little adventurous kind of angle that it brings into things. That's a really fun thing that Escape and Explore brings to the fold. On top of that, because of where they've really found their niche and where they found their feet, they love to do things that are unexpected or are not the bog standard. So you can take a typical concept like a peninsular itinerary, but I can guarantee you what you enjoy and actually experience on the ground is nothing like the typical concept of what a peninsula tour would take you through. And that's really important and is kind of ingrained in everything that they do.
I think the key thing over there is that off the beaten track things and that they go to places that not many other guests go to. And even, I mean, I grew up in a lot of my time in Cape Town as well, but they take me to places that I didn't even know existed.
Absolutely.
And really cool little spots that are just so amazing and just completely different, but away from the maddening crowds.
Yeah, they really know this is their backyard and they know it well. And then involved in what they've really grown from and something that's exceptionally impressive that they do is alongside all the fun experiences that they give you guys, they've really involved an unbelievable sort of immersive community vibe. And so situations like when you go out and you go snorkeling, you're with this amazing group of people who have, recently learned to swim in the last few years and are now engaging in leading snorkel trips that they never thought would be a part of their world and what they're focused on. But Escape and Explore brings so many of those incredible added touches, not only from the people, but from the stories that those people can tell, that again, it just builds on the whole experience. It's not just the bog standard. You've got the added off the beaten track locations you're going to, and then you've got this full kind of encompassing storyline that weaves through everything that just gives such a wonderful impression of what the Western Cape is about and the people of the Western Cape.
And I think just on that as well is that, our whole ethos from Classics is about conservation and community involvement and development. And while you think something like a Cape Town a tourism or touring company wouldn't have that connection, their connection to conservation stories around the Cape and their connection to community development is absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for something cool to do in the Cape, I'll always go to Ingram and say, what can we get involved in? Whether it be ocean conservation things or things in terms of preserving parts of the mountain and the fynbos, or to uplifting the Rock Girls or any of the other community development projects that they do as well. But that's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. And then finally, in order to be able to facilitate all these amazing trips and experiences that they give you, their kit is unbelievable. So not only do they have these very cool vehicles that come with all the toys, all of the little bits and bobs that you want, great food, great snacks, great drinks, all of the stuff that you're going to need on your day out while you're exploring. But they also have this very different side of them that I think that not as many people are aware of, is that the adventure isn't everything. They have, I think they're up to about 30 plus different guides that they've got working with them now. And all of them have their specialty little niche. And that's anywhere from sommelier side of things, so really great knowledge of wines, to surfers and kiteboarders, to amazing, like I was saying, with the group that does the snorkeling. And then they also have the side that gets you involved in the art side of the Western Cape, or the food, the culinary side. So they have a little bit for everything. You can get out there and you can go as crazy as you want on the adventure side, but you also can really find a way through the Western Cape with any specialty sort of concepts that your person or the guests are personally drawn to. Escape and Explore can do it. And you know what? If you have an idea of what a guest wants to see and you don't see it on the list of things that Escape and
Yeah.
Explore, go to Ingram and go to the team. They love the opportunity to create something new. So the sky is the limit with these guys. They really go mad. And any of you who know Ingram knows that he has more energy than I think most of us put together. And he channels that into these amazing itineraries and creations that they make.
And I think just speaking about Ingram and the team, we kind of assume very often that they are more, as you were mentioning, on that adventure side, and so you're going to stay in a quirky guest house and then go and do an escape and explore experience. But guys, they definitely are on the luxury end of the market as well. So staying at Element House or Cape Grace or the Silo or any of those destinations, you don't need to get into an adventure utility vehicle. You can get into a luxury SUV and they can go and do a slightly more sedated, art tour.
Yep.
But from doing something really sort of like the wine and the art and something a little bit more geared for Mrs. Jones from America, from New York, up to somebody that younger, vibey couple with some delinquent teenage kids or something along those lines, everything can be catered for over here. So while Ingram has a high energy personality, I think the experience can be geared from rather sedate and very elegant, right up to high energy and really unique as well, and
And
everything in between.
And that's because of this incredible array of guides that they've got. They really have somebody that can fit every little niche. And I mean, we've touched on a little bit of what they do, but they really have quite an expansive offering for exploring the Western Cape. And within those concepts and within those tours, getting out to see the penguins, but instead of walking on the boardwalk, you go out on a kayak or you go out on a stand-up paddleboard and you enjoy the penguins from the water. We did a tour with them a couple months back, and they had the most incredible setup on the beach that some of the assistant guides had been out there since like 7 in the morning to secure the little beach spot for us with all the food. So, and we were out in the water. I mean, we had some girls who had never snorkeled before, and they were out in the water for at least an hour. We had to basically drag them back out because of the amount of fun they were having. But that just really is a small nutshell of what it is that Escape and Explore puts
But I
together.
think that really kind of makes me think about you get people to do things that they wouldn't comfortably do before. And when you get out of your comfort zone and you suddenly realize that you can stand up paddleboard or you can go swimming through the kelp forests or do these unique experiences, you feel like a hero as a guest.
Mm,
And you suddenly the most basic thing is actually just participating in something that you didn't think you could do. And
absolutely.
the way that the team curate it and make you feel so comfortable at every single moment, that's what makes it so unique. And yes, we can all go and do fine dining, we can all go and do all these different things, but it's when you get out of your comfort zone and do something truly exceptional that
Mm,
makes people feel wonderful. I think they had an older lady who was in her 80s who'd never been snorkeling before, who went snorkeling
amazing.
for the first time. And that for her was the highlight, not just of her day with Escape and Explore, but of her whole holiday in Africa.
Well, I think that's it, is that lining out these itineraries for guests, we often think, oh, this is going to be their highlight, or
Yep,
this beautiful
yep.
lodge layout is going to be what really blows their mind. But this kind of experience where they're really engaged in everything that's happening, that's what really sets the tone and sticks so nicely. Then moving on, in kind of the most seamless sort of concept is to speak about Cape Town helicopters and experiences. As Suzanne said, they're the newest member of our portfolio, and we just love having them with us. They have the coolest toys. I mean, it's amazing. Two of them you see in the picture here. Not only are they fun and cool toys to have, but they've thought through all the
Mhm.
processes. So these Eurocopters that they have, not only are they, from the way that they're engineered and created, they're quieter on the outside, so they have a much lower decibel noise just for the surrounding zone and people seeing the helicopters in the air above them. But they're also so much quieter and so much more comfortable on the inside. And that's just an aspect of what Cape Town Helicopters does, is they've really thought through the whole process of everything. And As the name of helicopters, they do a hell of a lot more as well. So they've got the amazing helicopter experiences that they're known for. They also do these amazingly cool cruises outside in the Cape out in
V&A
the bay
waterfront.
here. And then they also have a full aviation setup, so they can also do fixed wing movements for you guys. So don't let the name Cape Town Helicopters fool you. There's a lot more involved in what it is that they can bring to the game. And what really sets them apart in that even more is that they own all their toys. So they own all the various helicopters and the various planes that they've got, which not only then gives them the opportunity that they don't have to go through any broker. So your pricing is really at a supreme level as far as getting the best price on the trips that you're looking at. But they also have the full service team to maintain and look after those toys. So it really is the best of all worlds wrapped into one by the fact that they own and manage and look after all of those various fleet.
I think it's a critical factor is that most aviation companies are on leases. So they don't own their own toys or their own helicopters or fixed wing aeroplanes. They're all leased in, and people buy fixed wing aircraft and then lease them back into these charter companies. And then when they need them, they just take them back out. That's not the case here, that they own every single one of their fixed wings and their helicopters and their boats, which is a really big factor. One of the key reasons why we like working with them.
Yep, absolutely. And then along with that, they really do have this air of sophistication and professionalism across them. In the same way that they obviously own their fleet and all that, they also have their pilots on staff are a member of the family. So they're not contracted in for this flight and this flight and this flight. Everybody's involved in the whole aspect together, and you can feel that on the ground when you're touring with them. And what's really cool and why Escape and Explore and Cape Town Helicopters work so nicely together is because the ability to combine the two is just the most ideal. I mean, for any of you guys who live in Cape Town and know how this traffic is going out of control these days, we've got the answer for you. From the V&A, pop up in the air, have an aerial experience to head down towards the peninsula and meet your Escape and Explore guide down at Miller's Point and carry on your version of a peninsula tour. That's just one idea, but they really do have this amazing way that they work together that gives you that ground and that aerial experience across these two companies together. Don't forget their cruises. Like I said, like we said, they've got their amazing cruises that they do out through the bay. And then the fixed wing. We're going to touch on it in a little bit more as well within this itinerary, but they've got that second division that gives them the opportunity to get you up in the air around here from a helicopter perspective, and then to further reaching destinations in that fixed wing.
And just on the helicopter side as well, with both Leclerc and Coot Club that we're going to be speaking about now, we can do fantastic scenic helicopter flights. And both of those destinations have got their own helipads, and something like Grootbos, which is also out in the Gansbaai area. It's also got a they've got both fixed wing and helicopter landing pads. But using it as a fun transfer to get between destinations is great. And then if you're going to be at a place like the Coot Club, the Escape and Explore can meet the clients at Coot Club and continue a journey on that side. But that hop and using that as a magical hop is a great way to go.
Yep, absolutely. And one thing just to point out to you guys that we've been doing a really great itinerary for some clients through our Stitch department, which was utilizing the fixed wing capabilities of Cape Town Aviation within the Cape Town helicopter scope, was utilizing and booking that flying from Cape Town directly to the Kwandwe airstrip, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. And it's such a wonderful way to arrive to any lodge in a private plane. I mean, everybody looks up and is like, ooh, who's there? Some VIP guest is landing. And then from there, a great added connection utilizing Cape Town Aviation again is to move on up into Kruger and go ahead to Tontatula. So our team with Stitch recently put together this itinerary, which included, it was for a group of 4 using a King Air plane from V&A Waterfront, flying through to Kwandwe, landing there. The plane sat on the ground for the 4 days while the guests were pottering around and enjoying their time at Kwandwe, and then flew them on to Tontatula.
So we had no dead legs, which really made a big difference.
And the savings when we compared to other aviation companies in the Cape area, both Western and Eastern Cape, was staggering. The amount of money, it was close on 200,000 Rand cheaper because Cape Town Aviation owns their aircraft and they don't utilize that broker service. So keep that in mind. Yes, they're based in the V&A and the waterfront, but with that aviation department, they can do much further flung exploration throughout South Africa.
And that charter flight there came in, for four people at 430,000. I know that's a chunk of change, but it was actually really good value for what they were offering, and it worked out brilliantly from that perspective.
Absolutely.
Okay. Moving on to the Coot Club. Lauren was there in November with her
Yes.
kids, who are smaller than mine,
Mhm.
and I was there in December with my family, who are a little bit older, as well as a group of friends. So we're going to speak about what we've experienced from the Coot Club point of view, from our personal stays. Guys, the location is sensational. Absolutely brilliant. You're just on the other side of the Hermanus Lagoon. So you got your back to the wind, which is a critical factor. So you've got this wonderful destination. So you're close to Walker Bay, Stanford, and Hermanus, but you're away from the hubbub and the busyness that Hermanus can become itself.
And what's really lovely is the location, and in addition to that location, from a city perspective or a town perspective, is the actual immediate space within the fynbos and with the lagoon right in front of you, and the ability to get out and explore the beauty that's right there surrounding Coot Club.
And then it's an all year round destination. Very often we think, oh, don't come to the Cape or don't go to the beach in the Western Cape when it's winter. It is fantastic. It really is a lovely time of the year to be here. And the summer months, we've got lots of water activities. And then, of course, now in our cooler months, we do lots more land-based activities, like your cycling, whale watching, and all those sort of different experiences.
Yeah, the whale watching, I think, is a big ticket, guys. I think, Hermanus has always had that name of being the premier
Yep.
destination of where you want to be situated to get to view the whales over the July to September period. But Coot Club can give so much more. And now with their amazing wood fire coals on each of the
Yep.
deck, you go out and you explore on the boat and enjoy the whale view watching, and then you come back and grab a glass of wine and soak in your little personal hot tub on your deck.
Absolutely fantastic.
Done.
So the key things we need to know over here. One, we would classify this as a classic level of within our portfolio. And then the impact every guest stay over here is going to be on the medium level. Land relationship. I always go on about where you're situated, but Coot Club is in a private conservation area. So it's a 465,000 hectare private conservation area, and they're in a joint wildlife management area with BirdLife SA. When to go? It is mentioned earlier, it's an all year round destination. Mediterranean climate, which means we have a dry summer and a wetter winter. The high demand period is from October through to April. The warm months, as you know, for the Cape are generally January through to March. And then our cooler months are going to be June through to August, which we are in at the moment. And our wetter months are June to August. But anybody that has done a winter in Cape Town, you'll know we do have some cold days, but in between we have the most gorgeous balmy, balmy days,
Yeah,
which is just fantastic.
absolutely.
From an activity point of view, there's lots to be doing over here.
Mm.
There's the supping, the stand-up paddleboarding, kayaking, motorized water-based activities like skiing or wakeboarding, or being pulled around in one of those tubing things. The nature walks, yoga is amazing every morning, and they have a yoga morning every day.
On the beautiful deck.
On the beautiful deck, exactly. The e-biking, quad biking, sandboarding, the beach excursions, sundowners, lots to do when you're at the Coot Club. And then within the surrounding area, we've got the visiting of the wine farms. We've got all the sort of the coastal wines in that area. Going to Gansbaai for the whale watching, which is June through to September. And then we've got our ocean safaris, and as well as visiting Stanford and Hermanus. They also have fantastic in-room massages, which go nicely with those cold hot tubs that they've got on the rooms.
100%.
From a value point of view, we put Coot Club down as a high value. It's not on the medium or the high prices. It's a value category. You're looking at a per person per night rate here, rack rate between 2026 up to 2027, ranging from 220 to 380. So the 220, of course, is going to be our lowest room in the lowest season, and the 380 is our highest room in the highest season at the end of 2027. Location wise, for those of you who have not been yet, Coot Club is on the Hermanus Lagoon. You've got the ocean behind you, so you are not sea facing, you are lagoon facing. The nice thing about that is that you are out of the wind. You are in the leeward side of the prevailing wind in the area. Hermanus is about 25 minutes to the one side, and Grootbos is about another 25 minutes to the other side. So just to give you an idea of where you are from a situation point of view. And then because you are in this wind protected area, we have called the cottages, the leeward cottages. We've then got lawns, which is an exclusive use option, and the boat houses. Those are the three different accommodation types. So we've got four leeward cottages, which are perfect for couples. So while Coot Club is synonymous with being great for families, we do have rooms that are for couples only. Lawns, which is a three-bedroomed villa type option, and then the boat houses, five individual boat houses. Children of all ages accepted, and we are open all of the year, except we close at the moment for a bit of a refurb. Okay, and then just to give you a lay of the land over here. Coot Club is kind of like there's the main clubhouse area over here, which is the center and the hubbub of all activity, with the jetty where all the water when the water sports take place from this place, and we've got a what's it called, marine little clubhouse type thing,
Yes,
where
where it's
they,
got all the
where all the toys.
yes, all the
Exactly.
things you need to be
There's
able
the
to
big pool
enjoy.
over here, and then we've got lawns and one of the leeward rooms over here, and then the other leeward rooms are here in the Milkwood Forest, beautifully done and quite sheltered and protected. And then the boat houses are all situated out in the Fynbos over here, and they've got lovely views out onto the lagoon area. Please do take note that getting from the Stern Boathouse over here back to the clubhouse can be quite far, and we do recommend that people have their own vehicles when they are here. Otherwise, there are bicycles for people to be using, but generally we find people are quite independent in terms of how they are getting about. Lawns is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I stayed here with my kids and some friends, and we actually took over lawns and the Leeward cottages as a group of friends, which was just amazing. You've got the divine upstairs loft area where the beds over here. There are actually four double beds here. And these are two singles, sorry, two singles and two doubles down here. So lots of space for kids. And then we've got three bedrooms downstairs, all of them on two of them en suite, and the third bedroom has a separate bathroom. And it's nice because the loft area upstairs uses that bathroom as well. Beautifully done, fun, funky, great interior style. And then the coals, which are these wood burning tubs, are the new things that we've added on. We've then got the Leeward Suites, which are stone-built style rooms, and lovely for couples. Lots of privacy. Absolutely fantastic for a honeymooner couple. They're in the Milkwood Forest, so really private, and they just feel quiet and calm when you are over here. Love the interior style that they've
Yeah, it's so
created.
fun.
So much fun. It really is lovely. And I know I say it's for couples, but if you've got somebody with a very small little person, they do have like a little single bed sleeper couch where we can put one individual kid as well. And then Lauren, you stayed in the boat houses recently, so give us an update on that.
Yeah, so I've got two younger kitties. Suzanne's out of the younger stage where I'm still in. But this was the perfect setup. I mean, not only did we have, they loved the hot tub and the opportunity to get into the coal later in the afternoon, but having this little kind of mini space that's all to yourself is so beneficial as a family.
Yep.
Even if, we weren't interested in cooking for ourselves and having that aspect needed, the kitchen was nice, but we didn't need it. But it's just, you feel so cozy and connected with each other. And I think it was really lovely. And listen, don't get me wrong, you've got mom and dad's room on one side and the kids on the other. So there's at least a little bit of a break there. But it really does create this fun, energetic vibe of an opportunity for a family to get together and just enjoy time.
I've also been there with couples and actually stayed in the boat houses as three couples and actually really enjoy that as well. So it
Yeah.
works out really nicely. And just to point out, while they do have little kitchens, it's not a self-catering destination, okay? The kitchen is mainly there to make your coffee in the morning, got little snacks. And if you've got a kid who needs a snack in the afternoon, like a little sandwich or something, you can make it yourself if you want to while you're there. But all the catering and all the sort of the central food and beverage side of things does take place around the clubhouse. So
Yeah.
yeah, we have which is the main center and heart of the whole experience at Coot Club. You do your breakfast over here. The breakfasts are either served out under the milkwood trees or in the main clubhouse area, which has just recently been redone. In the past, we had the kiddies area upstairs in the clubhouse, so the children had these beautiful views, and they kind of had all the best location in terms of being in the clubhouse. But now what we've done is we haven't sent them to the dungeon, but we have actually in the bottom level done the most amazing kids play zone.
Let
It
me tell you
is
guys, it changed my whole
oh
day because there's three or four different rooms. They've got a little cinema
fabulous.
set up. They've got little like arts and craftsies area. They've got a pool table for the older children. But it's just this zone that they can feel independent and
Yeah,
they can do what they want and they can play around and it's safe. They can't get
totally.
out of that section and escape without you knowing where they are. But it really, I mean, my kids loved it, which meant that I loved it because then my husband and I could have a little bit of time away from the children. And we went upstairs to the brand new, beautiful bar upstairs, amazing views, like Suzanne said. So the whole clubhouse, the way they've rejigged everything at the end of last year has really been a game changer. It's a stunning, stunning setup.
Absolutely. And actually, if it does happen to be a rather, miserable day and it is raining or it's windy or something like that, the clubhouse is the absolute hive of activity.
Yep.
Because upstairs you've got the pool tables and you've got a bar area and big, it's TVs to watch the sport if it's on, and downstairs the kids are going to be having their own things in their own place.
Yeah.
And in between, in the middle level, you've got this wonderful restaurants and dining experiences.
Yeah.
So it works brilliantly from that perspective. Another thing just to remember, we can do braais, a little, barbecue style meal for people in their boat houses. So if you don't want to be social and go to the clubhouse zone, you can have a private meal in your boat house as well. And then from an activity point of view, I mean, there's loads to do. The quad biking is a massive hit with everybody from any age on that side of things. If you want to be a bit more active, we've got the fat biking and the kayaking, which is wonderful to do. For those who don't want to be active, sundowners are always a great hit. And then the beach picnics and the whole beach experience, going out there with a Coot Club Land Rover is always a lovely thing to be doing as well. Walking along the Walker Bay Beach, you can do whale watching from this point as well.
We were out
Yep.
on the beach and we saw penguins, we saw
Penguin
the
whales.
whales from the coast.
And then, of course, the morning yoga sessions and the massages and all of those sort of things. So lots to do at the Coot Club. You could definitely pack in at least 2 full days of loads of activities on this side. And then for those who want to explore further, of course, you've got the Marine Bay Safari experiences from Gans Bay, with the whale watching experiences there as well. And for those who want to experience the coastal vineyards, we've got all the wine exploring and the restaurants to go and do in that area as well. So quite a lot to do on property as well as off property. It works brilliantly for families, for groups of friends, and we're getting quite a lot of small group travel. And we've just had a ladies group that came in, which was fantastic, a group of 8 ladies.
Yeah, Coot Club really can fit just about any sort of contingent because you have the ability to be as active as you want, but it's so beautiful and serene any time of the year that you also can just take a breather and just enjoy the natural surroundings.
Absolutely. And then just to remind you that it's not just about kiddies all the time, we do have a honeymoon offer, and the honeymoon offer is specifically geared to show you that we do have we can be romantic at the Coot Club, and that works out brilliantly in the Leeward or in the Leeward suites or in the Starboard Boathouse, which is suited for two. And then we have a fantastic whale season offer. So you stay 3 nights and you only pay for two in the peak whale season time, which runs from the beginning of May until the end of September. And then just another quick question we want to give you a poll on your side. Just while we're talking about getting around South Africa as a whole, I'd like to know sort of which of your guests' preferred method of transportation between destinations, scheduled commercial flights, private charters and helicopters, private road transfers, app-based car services like Uber or a self-drive. And the reason I'm actually asking this is that we've been having a bit of a debate in the office as to how much are people driving nowadays. Because when I started in tourism, we used to still do Joburg, and then everybody used to drive via Walkersons and Critchley Hackle, Dullstroom, and then go and do the panoramic route, Old Joe, what's the place called? Pilgrim's Rest.
Yes.
Pilgrim's Rest in Sabili, and then go to the Kruger. I don't think anybody does that anymore. And we used to have loads of people driving along the garden route. So just to kind of get an idea of where people are coming from on that side. So we can end the poll in now. Perfect. Share results. So over there we have majority of you are scheduled commercial flights and private road transfers. But still there's some self-drive car rental which is coming through, which is quite nice on that side. And the next is private charters and helicopters, and nobody's using an Uber.
Good.
Okay.
Good
I wouldn't expect it from this group. Okay, close it down. Great. Moving on to the clay now, which is right where I am, 5 minutes away from where we are at the moment. Best thing about Le Clay is the location. Honestly, I live in Franschhoek. I love living over here, as most of you know. But Le Clay is the most superb location. So we've got two working wine farms right in the middle of town. So on the one side, you're looking out over vineyards or orchards, and you turn around and you're within a 5 minute walk. That's not even a fast walk, that's quite a slow walk. 5 minute walk onto the main street of the village.
And I actually, the location is great, but this next one's my favorite. Mel has brought in, the general manager, Mel, brought in this absolutely unbelievable firsthand knowledge from a culinary perspective. And that breakfast in the morning, I mean, I love getting out and exploring the vineyards, you know, e-biking through them or just going on a little wine tasting. But I would postpone all of that to enjoy more of Mel's and the team's food. So the food is my favorite part.
Totally agree on that. And then what I also think works really well, similar to what we were saying with the Coot Club, where you've got rooms that are suited for couples and we've got villas that are suited for families. It's the same here at Le Clay. We've got Le Clay Lodge, which is the 5 individual rooms, which sell very, very well. And we've got a good entry level rate coming in there with the loft rooms. And then we've got our 4 villas, which are fantastic for families. So we are finding as well, just going back to the villas, we're getting quite a lot of multi-generational families and we're getting quite a lot of small group travel as well. You know, a special interest group, lots of ladies groups or a wine group or things like that. But we do find then using, because of the location of the villas being really close to each other, you can actually add the villas together
Yeah.
and suddenly go from either a 2 bedroom villa up to an 11 bedroom option of taking all 4 villas next to each other. So that flexibility of Le Clay is absolutely superb.
Yeah. And being out here and enjoying Franschhoek is through the eyes of Suzanne, which we love to give you the idea or the opportunity to live like a local here and not feel like you're just a visitor, but to actually really immerse yourself. And the location of Le Clay, the lodge and the villa being close to downtown, but still close to all the vineyards and the beautiful surroundings and all that really makes it, you know, it just kind of as a natural byproduct of being out here with us is that you feel like you're a local.
And I think we really want to push the fact that you can be quite an active destination over here. The mountain bike cycling is phenomenal in this area, really superb. The mountain walking and the
Mm.
Fynbos tours and the little private guides and things like that that we can offer to people as well. Going to the Saturday market, all of these sorts of things. But Franschhoek really is about a sense of community and about a sense of living life at its absolute best. And we find that's one of the key selling points about this destination. So the things you need to know over here, we classify the lodges, I mean the villas as premier, and we classify the lodge as a classic type of experience. So it's not the ultimate top end. And then the impact of every guest stay here is also again on a medium level. And then just again, in terms of the land relationship, we've got the best location over here, 2 privately owned farms right on the edge of town. But you're on a working wine and fruit farm. And then weather-wise, again, when to go, it's an all year round destination like Coot Club because we're only like an hour and a half away from Coot Club. It's Mediterranean climate. Our peak season is October through to April. The warm months, January to March. The cooler months now, June to August. But it's about 20 degrees, 22
Yeah.
degrees today. So it's like a, British summer. And then our wet months are June to August and lots to do. I mean, getting out to the restaurants and the wine bars. We've got fantastic walking wine tours, art galleries, the boutique shops to do in the area as well, the village market, biking, walking, visiting farms, heli flying because we've got to own a helicopter landing pad, in-room massages, tennis and fitness. So lots to do at Le Clay as well. And then from a rate point of view, we classify this as a value to medium. So the starting rate here per person is at $240 per person per night. And then we're going up to our peak private villas in the peak season, which is the Christmas peak next year, goes up to $960 per person per night. So we're ranging that. So it's still under 1,000. So we're still classifying that up into the medium category. Again, I just love this little map. This is the one main road coming in and out of Franschhoek over here. And you've got all the high street experiences on this side. And then you've got this Le Clay farm on this one side over here, where it's got the 4 villas. And the second farm is over here, where you've got the lodge, which has only got 5 rooms and this beautiful big garden. Helicopter landing pad is all the way down here. But as you can see, they're well situated to give you easy access to enjoy all the highlights of Franschhoek. So you can walk to different restaurants in the area. You can go and do different wine tastings. You've got fantastic little wine bars and different places to go and visit the shops on the main street. And then we've got the walking, riding bicycles, the market, the wine tram. And we actually don't find many of our guests do the wine tram, but that is an option as well, mostly for couples, maybe not so much for families. But all of this is with easy access from Le Clay. And then the 4 individual villas, which is on the one farm. This is one villa here, a second villa there, a third villa there, and the fourth villa. So what is nice is that you can use these together if you want to, or use them on an individual basis and you're completely private. I always call this the 100% butt naked approach. You can literally go for a skinny dip and nobody will see, which is really nice to be able to do. So we introduced this, when was it, last year?
Last year, yeah.
End of last year, we introduced at both Manoir and Gallery, our two-bedroom villas, we introduced a couple rate, and that rate runs from May through to December, middle of May to the middle of December. What we do is we take the full villa rate and we cut it in half. So you're paying 50%, okay? And then you have access to the whole villa, except in one bedroom. We just close off one bedroom, but you have access to this whole villa for one couple. So it's absolutely brilliantly done. We just close off one bedroom, but you have the lounge, dining, the pool, the whole thing to a couple itself. The reason we did this was that we had guests always booking into the lodge and paying the premium lodge room rates. And then we had the villa sitting empty and we kept on upgrading everybody. And then we thought, hang on, why don't we just charge this? And this has been such a popular room category. These sell brilliantly. So this villa over here is Manoir. It's got one big kick-ass gorgeous room, which is over here. That's your main bedroom over here. And then a second smaller child's room. But you have all of this space for one couple, which is absolutely stunning. And we just closed the kids' room off.
You feel like you're in your own little mini castle.
Gorgeous.
It's divine.
Divine. Absolutely stunning. And then Gallery, again, one of my favorites. And again, I have to just show you, point out high hedges, which give you absolute privacy, but beautiful views into the surrounding area. And again, you have this whole area just to yourself. It is the most stunning, stunning suite. And you could easily combine this with, like a level of a Singita or a top safari experience, and then come and do the couple rate in one of the villas at Leclerc. Look at those views. Beautiful area to go up over here. You've got fireplaces and that sort of thing in winter. The winter months, it's also nice and cozy and warm. You get your massages in the rooms as well, in your villa as well. So a great option on that side. And then for the families, we've got Grange, which has got the 3 individual rooms. Easily, you can put 3 couples in here because the rooms are all beautifully done. And then we've got a loft area upstairs, which works brilliantly for kiddies.
And I love the log cabin look.
I know, I love this. It's got the mows. It's an old barn, actually, that used to be kept where the wagons used to be kept.
Oh.
Yeah. And so this is lovely, big in the interior. And then they put a fireplace in the middle. It burns on both sides of the lounge and the dining area. But there's lovely, big open space. And then this deep veranda that looks out into the pool. And then Domain has got the 4 bedrooms. And again, we use this a lot for small groups or for families or anything like that. It's right next to Gallery, so you can make a 6-bedroom villa quite easily. Lovely big areas over here in terms of dining space, and a beautiful garden and a beautiful swimming pool as well. And then just stunning interiors. And then we've got Lodge, which is again between the villas and the lodge, is about a 10-minute walk. Otherwise, they do an easy road transfer. And here we've got the 5 individual rooms in the main lodge area. And this is sold on a per room basis. Please note, at the villas, we take kids of all ages. And here, because it's on a per room basis, the age is 12 years and older on that side.
And don't forget, you can use the lodge on an exclusive use as well.
True.
If you need the 5-bedroom opportunity, then Leclerc can satisfy, the lodge can satisfy that.
Yeah, and that works really nicely with big gardens and that sort of thing. Beautifully done. And we call it lodge because the whole essence was to make it feel like a bit of a safari lodge. We do a beautiful central dining area, and you can either opt in to join for dinner or you can be going out for dinner. But the communal dining is very popular, and it feels like sort of a private house party when you are here. Beautiful sundowners in the evenings and lots of amazing activities. And actually the whole it oozes charm and grace and elegance. Yep. Very feminine and very stylish because it's a girl team.
Yes.
Okay. And then that's why our sundowners looking out into the surrounding vineyards.
Oh, divine.
Yep. And then just to remember, we do the Unlock Leclerc, which is valid now, 1 May to 19 December. Guys, please remember, 3 nights and you save 20%, and that's valid until the 19th of December this year. And then next year we've shortened it. It's only going to be valid until the 31st of August. And then we've got our honeymoon offer, again, the same honeymoon offer as we have at Coot Club. Stay 3 and pay 2 for the honeymoon couples. Now, finally, we're going to go, no, not finally, this is our 3rd question. Biggest challenge when selling this itinerary. So this itinerary is going to be your Cape Town, and then Kwandwe as the Eastern Cape section on that side. Oopsie, wrong thing, push the wrong button. There we go. So we know, so this is sort of like helping clients understand that the Eastern Cape is a strong safari destination, the price point justifying the three premium properties, the travel logistics between the region. It can't be that. Don't anybody say that because the travel logistics are super duper easy. And then the competing with the classic Cape Town Kruger combination, or no major challenges. It's an easy sell. So I just want to get your idea of this Cape Town, Eastern Cape that we're selling now, which we're going to be pushing you on. Okay. And you can see by the question we asked that we kind of knew what the answer was going to be. Okay. Which will give you another moment or so just to answer. Okay.
There we go. There's some no major
No major
challenges.
challenges.
Finally.
Yo, not nearly enough, but nevertheless. Okay. Great. Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna count to five. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, close it off and share the results. Okay, so over here is what we thought. Okay, so we've got 61% of you have come back to say the major obstacle in selling this is competing with the classic Cape Town Kruger combination. And then the next big 52% of you have been said it's helping clients see that the Eastern Cape is a strong safari destination. 9% the price point, 9% the travel logistics, and 9% no major challenges sell this. So we're dealing with the Cape Town Kruger and the perception about the Eastern Cape. So clearly, you know what I'm going to be discussing next. All right. Okay. Moving on to Kwandwe. And I was actually at Kwandwe last week. So I've got a very fresh perspective of the destination, but I'm there a lot because my children go to school in Grahamstown. So I do happen to pop into the area quite a bit. So what we love about this, and guys, I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to give you this pure facts on this. You're exploring one of the largest privately owned game reserves in South Africa. It's a big five destination, and you have over just 30,000 hectares. That's 75,000 acres or 3,000 square kilometers, with one of the lowest lowest vehicle densities in a wildlife area. I don't like people. I've really, the one
Interesting
thing,
choice of
yeah,
career.
but I don't, and I was just going on safari and seeing people everywhere,
Hmm.
and actually just makes me, I'm chatting to Nomad yesterday, completely off topic right now. But again, we were just talking about the way Nomad in Tanzania is making sure that in a busy area like the Serengeti, they're staying away from the
Hmm.
crowds and they're uncovering the unique. Escape and Explore in Cape Town is staying
Yeah.
away from the crowds and uncovering the unique. This is a critical factor. And I think in so many places, you can't get away from just this busyness the whole time.
And then adding to it, the incredible wildlife that you get on the reserve is something that still, I mean, I've been lucky enough to travel to Kwandwe a few times, and it's still, I've had more firsts each
Yep.
trip to Kwandwe than I have in a lot of the other places that I've been lucky to travel to. And that's because within the 30,000 hectares that they sit on, there's a huge diversity of the biomes and the landscape. And because of that, that then feeds into the diversity of the wildlife that you find across the reserve. So within Kwandwe, you've got a little bit of the Kruger and you've got a little bit of the Kalahari. So you get all those iconic Kruger species, and then you get mixed in with it. You get the meerkats and the brown hyenas and the weird and wonderful that you wouldn't necessarily anticipate. And that elevates the safari experience even more as well.
I think that looking for places that have immense biodiversity is a critical factor. And we've got within our portfolio quite a few iconic destinations that are rich in biodiversity. Gorongosa being another one, just to go off topic again. But this really makes a place very, very special. It's not just like a singular focus, it is multiple layers to it.
And I think, like we said with Escape and Explore, how they come wanting the peninsula tour, but they
Yep.
get so much more that sticks.
Yep.
Your guests are going to come and they're going to say, I want the big five, but they're going to remember the aardwolf
Yep.
or the bush pig or the randoms, the weird and wonderfuls that they have been able to see being a part of the Kwandwe experience.
Yep. And then I think because it's privately owned land, again, you've got that nobody else can come into it, so nobody else is going to be building there, which gives you that unique that aspect of and low vehicle density on that. But it also gives you an option because at Kwandwe they have to manage their land and they have to manage the wildlife because they're completely responsible for everything. They're not handing it over to a government body. That gives guests the opportunity to go and do hands-on conservation work. Last week I was in Grahamstown, but I was lucky enough to pop out for a day. And Angus just said to me, "Oh, come along." We did 5 rhino dartings in one morning, 2 black rhinos and 3 white rhinos. I mean, it was between 8 o'clock and midday. I think like it was before lunch. It was so amazing. And it was with a group of American vets that we were doing it.
And then beyond that, and what we've spoken about, hopefully you're picking up on a bit of a theme here going across Coot Club, Leclerc, and now Kwandwe, is that because of our slight difference in seasonality, especially when you're comparing Eastern Cape to the
Yeah,
Kruger, you've got that complete opposite swing of things. So right now, while the Kruger is kind of peaking into its high season at the moment, and we're going into the wetter season with Kwandwe in the Eastern Cape, you then get the opposite. So when early this year, when we have all those floods through Kruger, Kwandwe was absolutely buzzing. The amazing experience of the wildlife and what you've got going on in that opposite seasonality, it really makes it an incredible experience. And that ties in with the seasonality with Leclerc and Coot Club, which is why this itinerary combining these three members really is such a slam dunk concept.
and moving on from that, just to give you an idea again, we classify this again as a premier destination, and your impact here is very high. The land relationship, which I mentioned a bit earlier, 30,000 hectares with 52 beds, which gives you almost 576 hectares per bed. Just to give you an idea on that side. I just want to point out over here, there are many other good reserves in the Eastern Cape as well, but something like a Shamwari is, I think, is 25,000
Yep.
hectares, and they've got
Smaller with more
100,
beds.
130 beds on
Mm.
it. Okay. So Conway is very low vehicle and bed ratio to its land mass. The Sobi Sands is double the size of Kwandwe, and it has more than, well, it has over 800 beds within that area.
Yeah.
So just to kind of give you that, Kwandwe is one-fifth the size of the Masai Mara, and there are over 6,000 beds in the Masai Mara. So
Jeez.
just to give you an idea of space that we have over here.
Mm.
Okay. The when to go, I think what is critical in this to realize over here, Conway falls into a bit of a no man's land in terms of weather. It has a little bit of the Western Cape weather, so it gets a little bit of the winter rainfall and that sort of thing. So it kind of rains now, the cooler, it's getting the cooler months now, June and July. And it gets a little bit of rain now from March to April. But then it goes into a dry spell, and we're currently in the dry spell at Kwandwe. And then it has a little bit of what is happening in the other areas, so it gets a little bit of rain again in September to December. But generally, it has a low annual rainfall. It's giving in that Kalahari aspect. So they love rain. Any rain when
Mm.
it comes, it's a blessing for this destination. But the peak season for safaris here is actually running from October through to April. Which are their warmer months as well. But now, guys, in the cooler months, what I love about it, just having been there last week, is you can go on an all-day
Mm.
safari and go and do a full-day game drive. And actually, what they do is that they don't do a morning drive. They switch out. You do breakfast in camp at about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and then you climb into the vehicle and you do this beautiful long drive with a picnic out in the middle of the reserve because it's such a big. So I call this time of the year the explorer season at Kwandwe. Day night drives over here, 6 guests per vehicle, guide and tracker, limited off-road because it's such a fragile area because of the low rainfall. So you can't bash through bushes because the bushes just don't grow back very easily. So they're very structured in how they manage their off-road. But again, you've got this big open landscape, so you can see far away. So it's almost like a mini Serengeti Mara because it's such a, lots of little klein bosses, little bushes. Guided walking, of course, fishing and boating because there's water all year round as well. They've got the river and the dams, and in-room massages, helicopter flying. They've got their own helicopters, getting involved in conservation and the community engagement. And then from a rate point of view, we're looking at a medium to high. The medium rate here, $1,000 to $1,500, is the average per person per night rate. And then the higher rate of $1,500 to $2,000 is the private vehicle suite rate. So that's the rate that you're paying when you're paying in those private vehicles suites. If you want to, Conway have their own Bell 505 helicopter, and they pick clients up at either Port Elizabeth or at East London Airport, and you can fly directly into Conway. We've done this together.
Yes, it was
Oh,
amazing. You get
amazing.
a little bit of a marine coming from
Yep,
PE, a little bit of the marine experience that
totally.
you see in that right-hand picture. We saw a small school of dolphins or a pod of dolphins that was right below us. So it was a very, very special way to arrive to the resort.
And you see whales, and then so you see dolphins and whales, and then by the time you've landed, you've usually seen an elephant and a rhino
Mm,
as well. So super cool arrival. I think out of any arrival,
mm.
this must be one of the best experiences. Again, what I wanted to point out again from a landmass point of view, it's a nice circular land area, so the 75,000 hectares, but you are using about 80% of this land. It isn't as though it's stuck up in the hills or across a road or not traversable. This land is all usable, traversable land with a road network that covers quite a bit of it. So you're actually really exploring, which is why we go into that sort of that exploring season at this time of the year when you can do a long day drive. The cats are superb. They didn't used to have good leopard. They were really sort of shy. They were always there. They just never appeared. And then in the last 2.5, 3 years, don't know what has happened, but the leopards have become superstars. They are absolute show ponies now, and they love appearing for the camera. So we are getting really good leopard sightings, and those are seen on a regular basis. And then, of course, we've always been good and strong on the lions. Cheetah, phenomenal. Really strong cheetah sightings over here. And then something that is unique and different, which we don't get to see all that often, which have been released back into the reserve as well, are the serval. And then from the cats, we move on to the regular Kruger species. You're getting to see all the normal things, your elephant, your giraffe, your white rhino, your buffs, your ellie, well, all these sorts of things. You've got lots of these, the fun things. But then you're getting all the unique things like your aardwolf, your brown eye hyena, the caracal, the bat-eared foxes, ostrich, meerkats, all these different species. And most of the time when we speak to people, these are the things that they love having seen. So I haven't got an aardvark in here, but aardvark as well. And then the black rhino, I absolutely love the black rhino. Such a cool animal. And then going on to Eka Lodge. So Eka has got 3 luxury suites and it's got 3 private vehicle suites. So the private vehicle suites is a relatively new concept, same room that we had in the past, but we've just changed the wording of this slightly. What we love about the private vehicle suites is that with each of these rooms, they come with a private vehicle and guide, and you've got complete flexibility to do what you want to do when you want to do it. In the private vehicle suites, you can have 2 kids staying, and the kids stay at a reduced kids rate, but you already got your private vehicle included. But it's not just a family room or a family lodge. This is a fantastic lodge for honeymooners or for couples wanting to explore and be away from everybody else. It's a smaller of the 2 lodges, but this has only got 6 rooms, and that private vehicle suite is working exceptionally well because it's offering great value. And to give you an idea of the lay of the lodge, it's looking beautiful. It was upgraded about 3 years ago. The interiors were redone and it's looking stunning. Rooms are absolutely gorgeous.
These are
big, mine too. Big spacious
surrounded by all
rooms.
that
Oh,
beautiful
gorgeous.
green wilderness around
Yep.
you. Such nice privacy, which is why these work so well for a honeymoon setup.
Absolutely. And they're lovely, big, comfortable, spacious rooms, their own private lounge section. And this private vehicle suite really is such a win. We are just, and I think from the price point of view, you're paying $1,500 per person per night to get your own vehicle and guide and tracker and to explore as much as you want. Brilliant for people that have done lots of safaris before and want that flexibility. And then Great Fish has got the 9 suites, again, also looking stunning. Please just remember, this one doesn't take kids. The rooms are spread apart. It's about a kilometer from room 1 to room 9. So if you've got older people coming to stay, which we do have a lot of, just do let us know at a reservations level because we put them at the rooms closer to the main area. Otherwise, for honeymoon couples or for younger people we push them out to the other rooms, which is lovely and private and absolutely stunning. That's the main area of the room. We redid the main lounge dining with a beautiful big central bar. And then the rooms are again comfortable, lovely style. They've each got their own private swimming pool, outdoor area, and your indoor-outdoor bathrooms. And then the private villas, which work exceptionally well. These are an absolute hit, either with small groups. You're getting, again, a lot of small group travel coming in here as well, or for couple, no, not really for couples. We do actually every now and again have couples staying at Uplands because it's the smaller of all the villas. And then we have fabulous for families, absolutely fabulous. And I've been taking my kids to Kwandwe for almost 20 years now. They're only 17 and 18, so I've been taking them, but I've been going, yeah. So, and what is great is the flexibility. So as a mum, I know I would always bath my kids before afternoon supper, afternoon tea, I mean. We would give them food at tea time, then go out on a game drive in the gym jams, get back, throw them into bed, and then the parents can sit down and have a nice evening. But you've got the flexibility of Uplands, which is the smaller of the 3 villas, beautifully done in a great location. It's very, very popular, especially with families with smaller children. Please note all the villas are fenced. You can't see a fence, but they're completely safe. Keeps the big animals out and keeps the small children in. So that's and then we've got Melton. We always had a bit of a struggle selling Melton in the past, just because it wasn't big enough or small enough, whatever it was. So what we did in Melton is we reduced the starting rate over here to 5 because we find there's a big gap on the family of 5. So Eka takes the family of four in the private vehicle suites. And then we have Uplands, which was well priced for the family of five, and we had a starting rate of five. And Melton started at six. But what we did is we just dropped it down to five. And since then, it's been selling brilliantly. So Uplands we recommend for families with smaller children, and Melton we recommend with families with teenagers. You got two lounges over here, four bedrooms. The rooms are all equal, so they're all the same style of rooms. We can do four couples in here, two families, two multi-gen families.
I think of Melton as the everything
Me
village.
too. Me
Yeah.
too. It works in every way.
Any request you
Love
have,
it.
it'll work at Melton.
Totally agree. Love Melton and brilliantly priced as
Mm.
well. And then Fort is our top villa, a great location in the middle of the reserve. It really, I think it holds the prime location
Mm.
because you've got this big open expansive view all around.
There's always wildlife at
Oh,
front.
absolutely. You can see these open plains. There's generally always a white rhinos, lots of leopard around here. Elephants come through over here.
Eland.
Yeah, eland, everything. And it's
Yeah.
definitely, you sit on this deck with your binos and you can scan and you'll always see an animal
Well, the
somewhere
kids
around you.
can run manic on the grassy
Correct.
area, so it satisfies all those boxes.
And dive into a heated pool.
Yes.
Yep. And then the mobile meals. I think this is a really fun thing about Kwandwe is that we have, this is especially at this time of the year, the guides are all geared and prepped to cook on the go. And it isn't about driving somewhere and having a thing set up for you, but they do sort of, this is a breakfast burrito stop that you would be doing lots of different things. But the idea is to explore and be out there as much as possible. The food experiences
Mm.
are outstanding. But I think the idea is just to get going and explore as much. And then we do the guided walking, excellent for the guided walking, especially with encounters with white rhino, because they're quite nice to walk with, not so much the black. The white rhino are very placid, and then and elephants and that. We do the boating, and they've just got a new boat. Oh, I haven't got a
Yes.
picture. We need to get a picture. We have got a picture of the new boat, but a great new boat that is coming, sort of a double hull, flat bottom thing. We can do breakfasts or sundowners on the boat as well. Fishing, and any idiot can catch a fish over here because there are lots of fish. The day and night drives, and then our sundowner experiences. And again, that food experience coming into everything is quite a big thing.
Mm.
And then just in terms of getting involved, the Rhino Monitoring Drive is phenomenal. If people want to feel that they're giving back to something or want to just be a little more intelligent, they can go out and do this conservation contribution of just over $1,000, and that goes straight back into rhino conservation. But you spend 3 to 4 hours with a conservation team understanding how they track rhinos, the ear notching, and conservation within Kwandwe.
And this is such a great thing for kids as well,
Yeah,
because you're safe on the
that's
vehicle, you're not getting out on the ground or anything, but they can utilize the iPad with the whole library of the various tagged and ear notched rhinos that they have. So it's a really great way for the little kids to have a nice involvement in the experience.
definitely. And then we've got the bigger options where you can get involved in the rhino conservation, which is when they're going to be immobilizing a rhino and they're either putting on an AI collar onto its ankle or they're doing a ear notching of the youngsters as this. But a wonderful experience to be doing. We'll send you all the details on it, but it is something active and truly rewarding for any guest. Fantastic for families. We can accommodate younger kids here as well, but it is one of the most extraordinary things to do. And, I mean, honestly, I've done it many times, but the first few times I did this, I couldn't stop crying. You cannot believe how this gigantic animal can be so vulnerable. And you touch certain parts of it, like under its, underneath the leg, and it's soft, soft, soft.
Mm.
And you think like a rhino is hard and aggressive, but actually they're so soft. And you can put your hand into the mouth and just understand more about the way that they're feeding and all those different things. But it is an amazing experience and it's much needed. So here we have our Take 20 again, which is valid now at this time of the year where you stay 4 nights and you save 20%. And again, to match to Leclerc and Kwandwe and Coot Club, we have the honeymoon offer as well. So just as a little recap of the itinerary that we've just done, we started off with the Coot Club from Cape Town. We drove to the Coot Club. And then we had 3 nights in the Coot Club. And then we're going to go from here to close this down from to Leclerc, and we're going to do 3 nights at Leclerc. This is our itinerary. We then drive. We're going to do a road transfer to Cape Town Airport, and then from Cape Town Airport we do a scheduled flight to Port Elizabeth and a road transfer to Kwandwe and a road transfer back from Kwandwe. This whole itinerary we've costed up for you, and look at the prices. The rack rate now is coming in at per person. We did this in a dollar base, so you can get an idea compared to other destinations. You're getting a 10-night safari in 2026 at rack rate of $6,370. And that's per person, which gives you an average rate of $637 per person per night, including 10 nights accommodation, all your park fees, your conservation levies, all your road
Your
transfers,
movements.
and your flight from Cape Town to Port Elizabeth as well.
Yeah.
And then we've got the rate over there for 2027. If you want to upgrade to a helicopter, you add on another about $800 per person, and it jumps up to $7,165. And then from today, I'm now sounding like a sort of an auctioneer today only, but we've actually got a webinar agent special offer for this year. So if you book via our Stitch team, and anybody can book through it, DMCs, international agents, whoever you want, your standard commissions will apply. You book via us because we can put the whole thing together and we know that you're putting all three together. If you book the 10 nights across these three destinations, we're adding on another 10% saving. So on the current rack rate now between May through to September, the special offers combined over here give you a saving of $1,300 this year, $1,400 next year. And then for this year, you're adding on an additional $490 saving if you book all three of these between July and September this year. So I know we're pushing our luck, but that is for some last minute bookings we hope for. But to get a rate of 5,880 rack rate per person for a 10-night safari across these three amazing destinations.
Sign me up.
I think it's a great option. Just as a final reminder, our last question. After today's webinar, how likely are you to actively pitch this itinerary? So, and this is now based on the question that many of you were saying beforehand, that you kind of felt that you're struggling to sell it in conjunction with compared to the Kruger aspect. And some of you feel that the Eastern Cape isn't a strong enough safari destination. We're constantly getting that. And I would really encourage any of you to really rethink what you think of Kwandwe, especially as a safari destination. It is a strong, strong, strong option. So, these are getting the right answers over
Yes.
here. You're obviously
We're
just being
getting
very
there.
nice to us, guys. We're going to wait for at least 20. Okay, I'm going to count back from 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to close it off. End the poll. Great. Share results over here. And excellent results, guys. So we got 63% of you have said that you are likely to sell this now that you know a bit better. And 32% of you are very likely and you already have clients in mind. I sincerely hope that you've got those, if they're in mind for now, quite soon. Remember that special offer that we've got and the extremely good value that we're going to be offering on that side. But that's a really good option to have. And we're offering that additional 10% between now and the end of September for any bookings to be made. And finally, as you all know, we've got our fantastic Classic Portfolio website. We've got a great team that keep that website updated. I, appreciate them every single day. Our agent zone has got amazing itineraries. This itinerary is actually in Safari Portal, which we will share with you as a follow-up document. Our crib sheet we love. It's got everything you need to know. And if it isn't on there, we'll put it on there, but everything is there. Beautiful fact sheet that we've just redone as well. And we've got the suggested itineraries, as I've just mentioned, which we're doing in Safari Portal. And then we've got our Classics Academy. So today's recording plus all our other webinars are in our academy. And I really appreciate, we get so many emails from people saying they've gone back and watched it and they've made a booking since then. So thank you all for the time that you take, not just to attend these webinars, but to go back and watch the webinars from previous sessions as well. So that is it from us today. Thank you very, very much. We sincerely appreciate it. I'm sorry we are 9 minutes overdue, but there was a lot to get through on that. And it was nice tag teaming with Lauren
absolutely.
today.
I think we got something going here.
Definitely. Great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And please don't hesitate at any stage to contact us if we can share anything else with you. Thank you.